So today is Friday. This time next week we'll be at Mallory Park setting up for another championship round, which is being held on the Saturday. So yeah, the races that we're in will be on the Saturday, not the Sunday. It is a 2-day event, but there's so many races being run on the Saturday and so many races being on the Sunday. This is due to it being the Bike Bonanza weekend at Mallory Park, so there's a lot more going on apart from the racing. There's bike parades from bikes past and present. A lot of stars will be there. I mean, last year we went and wandering around the paddock was Michael Dunlop, Ian Hutchinson, and just to name but quite a few star names. So it could be a really good weekend. There's live bands at night. There is a lot going on. So yeah, they've split the race into 2 days. Our race has been on the Saturday, so the paddock's going to be very busy from Friday onwards because of everything else going on there as well. So I shall get there on the later Friday morning once I've loaded up and get set up for the weekend. So I've made some changes since the last round. This bike went pretty well at the last round, to be honest. Interestingly, I lapped a second faster on this bike, the orange bike, to what I did on the black bike earlier in the year, even though this bike was actually down by 2 miles per hour over the start and finish line on the speed trap, and yet I was riding it probably no different to what I was doing that bike. I was still coming out of the bus stop chicane and down Devil's Elbow just as hard as what I was on this bike as what I was on that. So I'm putting it down to just a couple of things on this bike. Anyway, I've made some changes. I fitted some lightweight alloy sprockets front and back, and also a lighter weight 415 chain instead of the bigger chain and heavier chain that's fitted. The thing to remember on these bikes is that every little item that causes a little bit of drag or anything that's not quite right, for example, if your wheel bearings aren't up to scratch and your wheel won't spin very freely, little things like that can make a difference on these bikes to your lap times and your outright speed. So you've got to keep on top of these things on these bikes. Another thing I've done is the standard carb's gone back on as it did at the last round, and that seemed to work fine. But I'm still getting a bit of a sort of flat spot in 5th and 6th gear because I was running an open carb, which I don't think was working ideally with the standard carb fitted to the bike. An open carb is okay if you're running a tuned aftermarket carb. So we've gone, like I say, we've got the standard carb on, and I've also gone back to using the original airbox, hence without the filter in it and without the lid on. So that should, I'm hoping, get rid of that bit of a flat spot that I was suffering. I think that was due to the fact I was running an open carb with just a filter on the end. So as you can see, with just a filter on the end, you're not using the original trumpet which comes into the airbox, and the inlet track length and little details like this on these bikes will make a difference. Also, I've had to cut the front of the airbox out here, airbox base out here, because when the fuel tank's on in position, it was difficult for me to get in the side here and operate the different choke mechanisms I've got fitted. There wasn't enough room to sort of get in there and switch it on and off, and I need to do that without faffing about too much. So I've cut this away so when the tank's on, I've got easier access to the choke lever, which will make a difference. So yeah, this bike is pretty much ready to go now. I don't think I'm going to take the spare bike to Mallory for the Saturday. I don't think I need to. I was pretty happy with this bike at the last round, and I do carry enough spares anyway, in terms of like levers, footrests, a different exhaust. Oh, another quick note. Another thing I found at the last round was there was a very slight rattle coming from the exhaust pipe. So I took the exhaust pipe off after the last round and found that part of the baffle that fits in here had broke away. Only a small part, probably about that much, and it was rattling around inside the bottom of the downpipe here. Same again, little things like that could add as a bit of a restriction in the exhaust. Yeah, it makes all the difference. So I've jumped that exhaust and now I've fitted a different pipe. with a slightly different end cam as well. This one sits a little bit higher, so it'll help the ground clearance a little bit on the right-handers. So yeah, this bike's ready to go. Hoping these little mods will make that a little bit of difference to the speed. Like I say, every bit helps. You know, if I can gain an extra 2 miles an hour over the start and finish line, it can make that a little bit of difference. So yeah, we will see.